Hey, what's up, guys? So, I guess in the latest Blizzard efforts to try to win some positive social PR, they're introducing some anti harassment social contract before logging into World of Warcraft players. And you know that it's not going to stop there. World of Warcraft is just their biggest game, so they're going to start with there. And you know they're going to introduce this to all their games, and uh, it I just don't get it, because the problem isn't the player base. Blizzard's had so much bad PR after bad PR, and trying to flip it to make it look like, oh, it's the player base, when we all know it's the execs and the people there at Blizzard. So in the latest efforts to try and rehabilitate their public image, Blizzard Entertainment has introduced a new anti-harassment social contract, which World of Warcraft players must agree to before logging into the game. So it's just weird that they're gonna. I mean, we know why, because they don't want the company to be viewed bad, so they're gonna try to push it off to the player base. And no, it's the player base doing all the bad things. It's not us. Don't worry about us. It's the player base. So this will roll out on May 31st with the latest patch of 9.2.5, and you'll be greeted with encouraging messages like make friends, play as a team, assist each other, and help you answer questions that others have in the chat channel. This is all like happening. Like, this isn't a brand new game. This game's like 15 years old by now. I don't know. I didn't really get into it, but this game's incredibly old and it has a large player base. Well, it did. I mean, it still does. But it doesn't make sense that they're just make friends, play as a team. Everyone's already doing that. Like, the contract always also warns players against engaging in numbers of behaviors with which the developer has deemed unacceptable. And I'm sure all of that stuff is already in the TOS they have to agree to. So there's no point to having this contract other than to make articles and have it viewed on good PR. That's all. That's all it's for. It's just good PR and for people to write articles about it, so they get the positive attention to it instead of all the bad attention they've had for the past a couple months now. We recognize the internet is not always a safe haven. It's never going to be a safe haven. It never will be. You can't just have a social contract to just, well, we're doing our part. Like, you're not. Like, I don't know how you're really going to enforce this already. I'm sure there's already people that are already, maybe not people, but bots that already look for words that they already ban, and they already ban people's account that they do not deem acceptable. So none of this is new. According to the developer, prohibited behavior such as hate speech, including negative comments that target other players' identity, including aspects like race, gender, and ability, harassment, threats, and abusive derogatory language behaviors, and spamming, blah blah blah, and other disruptive behaviors. I'm sure that's already taken care of. They do their best they can with bots and people reporting, and they take care of those people the best they can. None of this is new. It's already being dealt with the best they can. So having some people like sign some social contract that they already agreed to in the TOS, it's just stupid. If you harm your fellow adventurers in any other behaviors, the contract explains you are subject to punishment and includes suspension of your account, blah blah blah. This is stuff that's already there. So it doesn't make sense that like 20 years later we're going to have them sign the social contract that's already there. So please try to respect, blah blah blah. More fluffy language to just be nice to each other. People are already doing that, and you're already banning people who aren't playing by those rules. They're being abusive and all that stuff. So there's really no point to this. All this is just virtue signaling. They also continue that this is only the start that we have in store, and the 9.42 content, blah 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 improvements. Oh, so now we actually get into the contract we need to. Yeah, so people aren't gonna read this, that they're just going to scroll down, accept it because they want to play Warcraft. They don't want to read whatever stupid contract you have there. Well, you should only need to accept it once. The developer admitted there may be future points where you need to. So they're going to keep. They're. So they're going to, like, maybe every 20 logins or whatever, they're going to have the contract appear up again and just constantly hammer you. This only serves to people to stop playing your game. I mean, WoW's been on the decline for a really long time, and now you're just trying to. Are you trying to get the rest of the people to stop playing because they just want to play WoW? They don't have to read your stupid bullshit at the start. While the contract doesn't seem to go beyond the typical TOS agreement, it's clear that is introduction of a part to attempt by the company to regain trust with players. The problem is, you have to fix the company. It's not the players aren't. I mean, I'm sure there's players mad with other players. But if you want to fix it, you have to fix it at the company. You can't just having all these allegations of sexual harassment, discrimination. There's that girl that Minecrafted herself. The problem is the company, so you need to, I don't know, do like even BS like Amazon videos where you just those Amazon videos where they're just like, oh, look at, we all like it here, like, even though like you hear a bunch of reports that everybody hates it, but you have to do that sort of stuff. Like, you can't just like hand out social contracts to the player base who have nothing to do with what you're doing at the studios. And the biggest thing I saw on top of that contract is that they proudly reveal this diversity tool, which is a quantitative tool to assign characters to a number of metrics based on that diversity boxes. So basically now they're going to have either, I guess, your account checking these boxes of culture, race, age, cognitive ability, physical ability, body type, facial features, gender identity, sexual orientation. What does this have to do with playing WoW? They just want to play WoW. Like, who you're banging doesn't matter. And if they think this is going to save their company from players leaving, like, no, this is only hurting this. Having people like sign in and every other time sign a social contract, or having to have all these like social metrics that have nothing to do with just playing WoW. They just people want to play these games to escape. They don't want to have having all these lists of like where you're from and who you're banging. Like, it doesn't matter. No one wants to know. They just want to play WoW. No one cares. And it's just hard watching this company just go further and further down. Like, it's not hard to fix what they're doing. Get rid of the bad people that have been making the company shittier. That's why, like, there's no one good there anymore. Like, all the people left. They went on and made their own companies. And if you don't really support Blizzard anymore, go follow the people who are making new companies, and they made the games that what made Blizzard great. So you have to follow the people, not the company, because the company it's just a shell, and it just pumps out just old and reused content, and it's never going to be what it was because all the talented people left. So go follow them and go buy their games, because that's the games you're going to like, not this stuff where you have to sign social contracts and check and do the check marks on the socialness of whatever. Anyways, thanks for listening.